Alrighty, you are looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff-bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Philadelphia Eagles. And why are the Philadelphia Eagles 0-16? Because they suck. Man, again. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all is going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening? I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. Going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my thought for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away, throw it in the chat box. You try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes. As soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. But plus also, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free, fire away. Oh, my buddy Rainey's here. I got to move the chair for him. Rainey, buddy? Well, while we have this break in the action, before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, top link in the description box, takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. The second membership level is called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Then finally, also, a little farther down in the description box is 2 additional links. The top one is a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a second. The one underneath it, I'm an old fart. It's Twitter. It's always been Twitter. It'll be Twitter today. It'll be Twitter tomorrow. It'll be Twitter 7 trillion years from now. It's Twitter. Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants to call it, that's on him. I ain't calling it that. I'm an old fart. It's Twitter. You follow me on Twitter, I'll follow you back. That's a promise. I try to put some Giants-related stuff in there every day. So I said, once again, if you follow me, I'll follow you back. Then the link right above it, it's a Facebook link. It takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. We have over 7,400 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group 24/7, darn near 365, right? Not do I put stuff in there, but if you become a member, members post stuff in here as well, too. So between me and the member, there's a boatload of New York Giants information going in this group every day. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied, I promise. All right, well, all that stuff said and done and away with. Oh, want to get under the table, mate? You want to come under, buddy? Hold on. Oh, wait. Don't want to pinch you. There. All right, buddy. Okay, Brady's here. We can continue. Oh my God, he always waits for me to start talking, and then he comes over every time. But at least I'm not talking to anybody. At least I got a fan here, right? So anyway, well. Usually they say the 3rd time is the charm. However, I guess maybe this time it's the 4th time the charm in the year of the injury, right? I don't know how. I mean, there's been plenty of other teams in the past. Absolutely, have had 4 kickers. Usually it's because, in this day and age, you miss a field goal, they fire you. Then a new guy comes in, he misses a field goal, and they fire him. Then they bring another guy. Usually that's what happens. I don't really know. I'm sure it's probably happened before. You have to go one of those stat-related websites or whatever, So-and-so was the first quarterback to complete a pass, at 8:12 at night while his team was, negative yards rushing while positive yards passing, while the wind was coming out of south-southwest at 12 miles an hour, while the barometer was on the rise in Belgium, and there was a full moon over the Netherlands. Wherever they come with this crap at. But I'm sure, but somewhere along the line, it's happened before. But when was the last time somebody can remember, four kicker, but three of them going on IR on the same team. Same team, though. Now, I'm not saying like all in the same year throughout the National Football. I'm saying three kickers on the same team in the same seasons. Field goal kicker, not punters. No. Starting kickers, right, for the Giants. Or any team going on IR, injured reserve, 3 in one season. You've got to be kidding me. Absolutely. So we're on our fourth kicker. And they brought in Mason Crosby. Guy's been around since Jesus Christ walked the earth. Matter of fact, he was the kicker in the championship game, the 2007. Well, actually, it was in 2008, but the 2007 Lambeau Field championship game. At that overtime one, that was his first season. It was in 2007. So he's been around for a long, long time. Okay. So, let me see, what do we got here? Where is he at here? Where is he at? Okay, he was with Green. Well, actually, he's been with Green Bay his whole life. Apparently, looks like he hasn't been with anybody, I guess, this season, but I guess keeping himself in shape and all that stuff and everything. And I don't know. It's like, he was 25 out of 29 last year. 86.2% of his field goals last year, and I guess he couldn't find a job. Go figure. I guess also, what is he? He's 39. I guess being up there in age and everything, I guess, So I don't know if he's straight off the couch either. I'm not exactly sure, but his first season was in 2007. So that season, 2007, when the championship game with Brett Favre and all that stuff, Favre, Nugent, and Tom Coughlin's face looking like a tomato and all everything. So Crosby's been around for a long time. So hopefully, we're not putting the jinx on him. Hopefully, he'll actually make it through the final 3 games without actually having to go on IR. But I'll tell you what, it's unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. 3 kickers going on injured reserve, 3 field goal kickers on the same team in the same season. See, so because the Giants place kicker crazy train took another wild, unexpected turn on Friday as the team signed veteran kicker Mason Crosby to the practice squad and placed Cade York on practice squad injury reserve with a quad injury he suffered on Thursday. York is the 3rd kicker the Giants have placed on injury reserve this season, joining Graham Gano and Randy Bullock. York, a 4th-round pick from the Cleveland Browns in 2022, was expected to kick on Monday against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, he's just a baby, right? He's got a nice big leg and all and everything. So, we'll have to wait and see what happens, in the future if we try to keep him around or not. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see, too. Like, is Graham Gano going to be ready for next season? You don't know. Bullock was placed on IR Thursday after suffering hamstring injuries. Obviously, he got the hamstring injury suffered against the Saints. Crosby's 39, kicked for the Green Bay Packers from 2007 to 2022. He worked out for the Giants a few weeks ago, with the Giants choosing to add Bullock to their practice squad at the time. Now, I'm sure Crosby is really probably nice and accurate. He's probably lost a little bit off of his fastball, shall we say. So he's probably not, can't boom him like he used to. But Crosby, he's made 395 out of 485. So basically, he's made like 4 out of every 5 field goal attempts, or basically a career 81.4%. So that's not bad. And especially if you figure, some of these kickers, almost all their kicks are indoors, right? A nice air-conditioned dome. There's no wind. There's no humidity. There's no rain, nothing like that. You know what I mean? Which kind of brings me to mind, like, remember Morton Anderson? The Giants had him for a year. I forgot what year it was, 2001, 2002, something. The Giants had him for a year. Well, he had some fantastic seasons with the Saints. Of course, he's in the Hall of Fame. But, of course, being indoors, no wind, nothing like that, no rain, humidity, everything's just absolutely perfect. Well, got Mason Crosby, kicking at the land of the Lambeau Field, it's a little different animal. Actually, my son and I saw him last year kick when he was with the Green Bay Packers. Actually, he kicked the game-winning field goal last season against my son and I. We saw the Cowboys play at Lambeau Field, and the game went to overtime. The Cowboys won 28-14. Aaron Rodgers brought him back with like 2 touchdowns. Might have been in the final quarter. The Packers, all of a sudden, their defense just started stopping the Cowboys. Couldn't stop the Cowboys for like 3 quarters. And finally, like in the fourth quarter, I think they started stopping them. And then it got actually went into overtime. It tied at 28-28. Both teams looked like they were playing almost like for a tie. But finally, the Packers broke through, and I think it was Mason Crosby kicked the game-winning field goal. So, let's see here. I tell people this all the time. Once you get on the kicker train, the destination is unknown. So when you're on that train that's been steady and you know the destination, you know exactly where you're going. You like to ride on that train, but when you get one you really don't know, you don't think you know, but you really don't know until you know. You could be anywhere. Okay, whatever that means. You can look up and you could be halfway across the world before you find another one. That kicker train is dangerous. It can take you anywhere. It certainly has taken the Giants on a wild ride the past few weeks. Okay. Okay. Here is something the special teams coordinator Thomas McGahee said in October before the knee injury suffered by Gano that set this chain of events into place kicker in motion. Okay, so that's McGahee. Okay, all right. I'm like, who the heck said that? But so we put our third kicker on injured reserved. I mean, I said I'm sure it's happened before, but I mean, 3 kickers. We got 3 kickers injured. And then we're bringing out a 4th kicker. I mean, we've had the other teams have had 4 kickers before and stuff like that. But I said usually that's because somebody stinks and you get rid of them and you bring somebody else in. You find out they miss a field goal or something like it. You let them go. I mean, I can't remember the Giants. I mean, I know the Giants back in the mid '80s, especially when they won their Super Bowl back in '86. Right around that time, they had a ton, especially '86. They had 86. My goodness. I think they had 3 or 4 kickers that year too. But they had one guy, Bob Thomas, who played 1 game for the Giants. He missed a real short field goal that would have tied. Well, he missed it early on. The Giants lost to the Cowboys by 3 points opening game. And he missed a real short field goal. So we let him go. And not because he was injured, because he stunk, basically. But the Giants had other guys that came in and it was just, during that period of time, the mid '80s, the Giants had a boatload of kickers, and it wasn't we let him keep going, because of injuries. It was just because we get a guy and maybe he would start stinking, and we let him go and get somebody else in, and we let him go or whatever like that. We had a ton of kickers back then. I'm saying, but 3 on injured reserved is a little ridiculous for one season. So there's our 4th kicker. Hopefully Mason Crosby can, I'm sure he'll, there shouldn't be any butterflies with him. I mean, he's been around for a long time. He's seen a lot, done a lot. I mean, he actually even won a Super Bowl with the Packers. So there's nothing he hasn't seen or done. So, I mean, sure, hopefully he'll help the team out. Right. So, all right. So let's see here. What else we got here? Then the injury report. Here we go. So other than the the kickers we got here, of course we brought in Timmy Horn because let's see. I guess Jordan Riley and DJ Davidson, I believe, are okay, but Ashawn Robinson, Nacho, and Sexy Dexy are a little banged up. So let's see here. This is as of Thursday, full Thursday injury report. I did not practice. Lawrence Cager with a groin, Dexter Lawrence with a hamstring. So you're not sure if Dexter Lawrence is not going to maybe practice at all, and we'll just be ready for the game on Monday. Let's hope. Xavier McKinney with an illness. Evan Neal, the ankle. It doesn't look like Evan Neal is going to be participating once again. If that's the case, this will be his 32nd game, and he's only played 20 of them. Okay, so he's played 5 out of every 8 games. So that's not good at all. That's not good. One of the things is you're trying to you try to obviously work his way into becoming a full-time tackle or if worse comes to worse, a full-time offensive lineman. But once again, your best ability is your availability. You can't make the club in the tub. And he's got to next season is going to be a huge season for him. Not that we're going to let him go or nothing like that. It's just that next season, because we got him for 4 seasons, and we like that. God, I'd like to at least pick up his 5th-year option, right? I mean, can he prove that he's worthy and we can pick up his 5th? Wouldn't that be just wonderful? But he's got to show that he can stay healthy. It's one of those many decisions that Shane's going to have. It's like you have a guy. How much do they believe in him? As far as that's our tackle. I don't care what anybody says. I seen the film. I seen this. I seen that. He's our tackle. Boom. You know what I mean? Is that what Shane's saying? Or is that, what I'm saying is if we have 5 wins, good chance. Just a good chance we're going to lose at least 2 of our final 3. So if we wind up with 6 wins, we'll have a top 10 pick. One of those real good tackles falls to us, right? Shane's got a decision to make. I mean, because you figure you might only be 2 guys away, which is we really shouldn't be that far away, but we might only be just 2 offensive linemen away from having a pretty good line. Now, John Michael Schmitz, he's got to get stronger. With his intelligence, his wrestling, his athletic ability, and all that, smartness. Time goes by, more and more experience and all that. He'll be a leader. Is he going to be a Hall of Fame or All Pro or something? Maybe not, right? But I mean, I think if he works at his craft, especially, he's got to get stronger. He's got to get stronger. So each year he gets a little stronger in the offseason, all that. He'll start be able to handle more and more of those. Hold on there. I got to move my leg. My buddy Randy's at my feet here. And sometimes I move my leg and I wind up hitting him accidentally. All right. So, I mean, sometimes he gets a little manhandled, by some of those defensive tackles. But if he starts working on his craft and everything like that, he'll just slowly get better. And, so you feel pretty comfortable that you catch your center. And, you got Andrew Thomas. Now, medium, we're only 2 guys away. Is of course, what they're talking about is you take Evan Neal, you put him next to Andrew Thomas. He played at left guard at Alabama. He did a very good job. His first season in the SEC, he was a left guard, and he did very, very well. Put him next to Andrew Thomas, right? You got that side. You got. My goodness. I mean, Christ, you have almost 700 pounds of beef there. That's where you can run the ball on that side. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, then if one of those tackles falls to the Giants in the first round, put him at right tackle. Then in this, either pick up a guard. There's a couple guards coming out or unless you think possibly the new offensive line coordinator, Bobby Johnson, comes in, maybe looks at some tape or something or whatever and says, nah, I think we can get Azeez. I think he can be our right guard for the future or something. I'll have to wait. I'll have to wait and see. But as I said, you draft a guy in the 3rd round, a guard. You got visions of that dude being your starting guard. I mean, But as I said, it's going to be one of those things. I mean, Evan Neal, it's going to be a huge season for him. I mean, especially if they pass on drafting a tackle, and they got we got Evan. Evan's our man. He's our right tackle. We're putting him right there. It's going to be huge. He's got has to stay healthy. I mean, Yeah, he's got to stay healthy because he's missing a lot of time, to work on his craft, not being out on the field. Yeah, so I want to say this is a huge season, next season for Evan Neal. But it's also going to be interesting to see, during the draft, if one of those tackles falls, or if Shane pulls the plug, we have to, I know we need an edge rusher. So between putting somebody next to Dexter Lawrence and an edge rusher and an offensive lineman, we got to get that. We got to start working on that. We got to beef up the lines, the defense and the offensive lines. We have to work on that. I know we need, we're going to need a number one wide receiver and all of that. We don't have a lot of spending cap, cap money. Don't have a lot of cap money. So we're going to have to do some damage here in the draft there. So but the Giants, without question, I would start beefing up those lines. If you want to play with the big boys, start beefing up those offensive lines. So as I said, so limited participation was Matt Breida with a hamstring, Carter Coughlin with a neck, the hammer, Jamie Gillan, his groin, A'Shawn Robinson with his back. He was limited in participation. So you got Dexter Lawrence, hamstring, Nunez Roches with the knee, and A'Shawn Robinson with the back. So those three guys, two of them didn't participate, and one was limited in participation. The one nice thing, if call it that, is that we're playing on Monday. We're not playing Sunday, so we have an extra day to heal up a little bit. So hopefully we get these guys in there. But that's why we wanted to bring Timmy Horn in, because we're got some guys nicked up on the defensive front, and this is not the game or the team to go up against with a weak defensive front, because the offensive line they have is very, very good, and they can move the ball, run the ball. I mean, they killed us last season running the ball. So as I said, full participation. Get Brightwell. So that was nice because he came off injury reserve, so with his hamstring, but he was full participation. Matt Parrott came back from IR. It was full participation from his shoulder. All right. Justin Pugh, has a calf and a neck, but he's full participation. And Darren Waller with a hamstring. So that's good. It's good. It's really good to have Darren Waller in there. So that's because he can be Tommy Chicken Cutlet's best friend out there. So, and the Eagles, I think I heard they gave up like 30 passing touchdowns so far this season. I mean, they stink. I mean, their defense is not very good. Not very good at all. The problem is the Giants' offense is not that good to be able to take full advantage of that crappy defense. But that's it. It's going to be fun. All right, so then we got here. All right, the keys to victory. Well, I don't know here. It says here, it was from Giants.com. Keys to victory. Giants play in their first ever Christmas Day game. Yeah, it's hard to believe. They never played on Christmas Day. The first Christmas Day I ever remember games on was 1971. It was the playoffs. The first game, Dallas went to Minnesota. This is a divisional round. There's no wild card round back then. It was just 4 teams from each conference made the playoffs. So there was one wild card. There's no wild card weekend, and what wasn't about that. It was just 4 teams, right? So the first game on Christmas Day was Dallas went to Minnesota, and they won 20-12. The Vikings had a lot more yards than the Cowboys did, but the Vikings had, I think, it was 5 turnovers. That's what sealed the deal. That's what did it. That's why the Cowboys wound up winning. Actually, the Cowboys were a very good team, but they wound up winning the Super Bowl that year. But Minnesota outplayed them, but all Minnesota's turnovers just killed their chances of winning that game. But the second game that day on Christmas Day, 1971, was the longest game in NFL history. It was Miami Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs went to 6 periods. And it was 27-24. Gary Premium kicked the field goal in the 6th period to seal the deal. It was funny because the Chiefs scored 10 points in the first quarter. So, I mean, I was pulling for the Chiefs only because I like their red uniforms. That's the only reason why. So I was not pulling for the Dom. I was pulling for the Chiefs. And basically, that was the end of an era for the Chiefs because after that, they won the Super Bowl in 1969. Here it is 2 years later. They're in the playoffs again and all that. And after they lost here to the Dolphins in 1970. Well, 1972, they were 8-6, but they didn't make the playoffs. But I mean, after 71, I don't remember how long it's been since the Chiefs didn't make the playoffs for us. That was the end of an era for the Chiefs there. But they lost in the 6th period to the Dolphins. As I said, the Chiefs in that game scored 10 points in the first quarter. And I'm like, man, they're gonna roll. I think they were winning 10-0. Man, they're gonna roll. But the final 5 periods, they scored 14 points. So, but it was a really good game. Really, really very, very exciting game. Very exciting game. But anyway, so the first Christmas Day game ever for the New York Giants. The Giants used to play all the time on Thanksgiving. Back in 1925 to like the end of the late 30s, they used to play every year on Thanksgiving. So they are familiar with not this crew of guys, but I mean, the Giants have played their fair share of holiday games, but never played on Christmas. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So we have some keys to victory here. And of course, the Giants will play in the first ever Christmas Day game, 4:30 in Philly. The Eagles have lost 3 consecutive games, but the Giants aren't taking the defending division conference champions lightly. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not the way the Eagles have beaten up on the Giants. And one thing is, Wink Martindale was talking about is anytime the Eagles have the ball, basically it's just 1st and 9. Because if they get 9 yards, if it's 4th and 1, they're getting it. They got the tush push. So basically, until somebody figures out how to beat the tush push or they outlaw the tush push, the Eagles are going to get it. They're going to go for it. Well, they might be on their own 10-yard line. It's 4th and 1. They're going for the tush push. They're going to get the first down. So basically, anytime the Eagles have the ball, it's 1st and 9. Okay. It's a very tough thing to do. The sense of urgency on 1st and 2nd downs needs to be there against Philadelphia, which has converted 48.4% of its 3rd downs, which is 3rd in the NFL. They got a good offensive line. The numbers get better on 3rd downs or of fewer than 4 yards to go, where they convert 72.5% of the time, 2nd best in the NFL. On 4th down, they have a league-leading 72.7% conversion rate. I mean, it's just, the problem will be getting their offense off the field. That's going to be a problem. Let's see here. Well, getting some turnovers in this game would be huge. It says on Christmas Day, the Giants need to be in the taking spirit, not the giving. No, you can't give up any turnovers. You can take some, but you can't give up any. It is no coincidence that their winning streak ended in New Orleans, where they failed to force a turnover after having 12 turnovers in 3 straight wins. 12 turnovers. The Giants had no qualms about admitting the reason. History tells us if we get turnovers, linebacker Bobby Okereke said, we'll win the game. For us to have success, Martindale added, we know we need to take the ball away from them. Yep. This is communication up front. The 2023 Giants hold the unenviable distinction as the first team to have multiple players take 30-plus sacks in the same season. With 7 last week against the Saints, Tommy DeVito's number grew to 35 sacks in 7 games. While the Eagles aren't on their historic pace like they were a year ago, their deep and talented front always has the potential to make it a long day for opposing offenses. Oh, my goodness, yeah. So you figure between Tommy Chicken Cutlets and Daniel Jones, we have multiple quarterbacks. The distinction is the first team to have multiple players. So between Daniel Jones taking 30 more quarterback sacks and Tommy Chicken Cutlets 30 or more, I guess apparently maybe the first team in history, I'm thinking of what it says here, 30 more sacks. Let's see here. Of the 337 teams that have started 10-4 or better through 14 games in the Super Bowl era, the Eagles plus 18 scoring margin. Now, yeah, I mean, when they lose, they get blown out. I mean, well, a couple of the games they got blown out at, big time. And then they've won a lot of close games, A couple of those close games they certainly could have lost, like the opening day game against the Patriots. I remember it was once or twice the Patriots lost by, I think, like 5 points. They went down there one time. I think they went for it on 4th down instead of trying to kick a freaking field goal, which would have moved them 3 points. Belichick went for it on 4th down and they didn't wind up getting it. So instead of possibly kicking 3 points, and then they got the ball down there, I think, toward the end of the game once again, I think it might have been. And they could have kicked another field goal, but because they didn't go for it earlier on a field goal try, they needed a touchdown. So it's just out-coaching yourself sometimes. Sometimes when you're down there, guess what? Just take the points if you can. Try a field goal. But the Eagles only plus 18 in scoring. And matter of fact, I heard that their defense is actually giving up 3 more points than the Giants' defense has. The Eagles' last loss versus a team at least 4 games under 500 was Week 12 of 2021 against the Giants. That's when the Giants won 13-7. I believe that was at Giants Stadium. That'd be Giants Stadium. The Giants haven't won in Philadelphia since Jesus Christ walked the earth. So it's been a while. Jalen Hurts is throwing an NFL worst 12 interceptions from inside the pocket. Last season, he led the league with 111.8 passer rating from inside the pocket. Hurts 14 needs 1 rushing touchdown in the final 3 games to break the tie with Cam Newton. I'm not impressed about that. See, what Cam did a lot. Cam did it because he was such a physical beast of an athlete and he could run. Hurts can run too, but Hurts, probably half of his touchdowns are from the tush push, so I'm not impressed with that at all. After having an NFL record 6 straight games with 125-plus receiving yards from weeks 3 to 8, Philadelphia's A.J. Brown has had only 1 such game since then. Let's see. A rookie quarterback has not started and beaten the Eagles since Dak Prescott in Week 8 of 2016. Wow, so that's a heck of a streak. Going there. With 1 more, DeVito could become the first undrafted rookie quarterback in the common draft era since 1967 to win at least 4 games. His 3 wins are currently tied for the most with Ed Rubert, 1987, and Delvin Hodges of 2019. Wow. So, I don't know. Let's well, he'll have a hard time beating the Eagles in either one of these games. I mean, possibly against the Rams. I mean, the Rams are a good team, but they're not 13-3 or something. I mean, what are they 8-6? I think it is 8-6 now. 8-6. They scored. 8-7. What are they? Let me see here. Let me look this up here. NFL standings. So they're 8-7. They've scored 357 points and given up 332. Basically, they've given up as many points as the Giants have. The problem is they've scored twice as many points. The Giants have only scored 189 points. I mean, it's just. Okay, them and the Patriots. Okay. The Jets just squeaked over the 200-point mark. So it's the Giants and the Patriots have scored under 200 points. I mean, it's just absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely pathetic. But, they have a chance against the Rams. I mean, I said the Rams are 8-7. I mean, of course, they beat the crap out of but they beat up on the Saints. Saints didn't look like the same team that beat the Giants the week before. See, it's a week-by-week kind of thing. The Saints look like the greatest team of all time when they played the Giants, and then they played the Rams, and they wound up losing. Is what it is. So then, go figure the Rams could come here, and the Giants could beat the Rams, right? Anything's possible. So, hey, maybe Tommy Chicken Cutlets can get his 4th win as an undrafted free agent, right? That'd be pretty cool. And I said, it's, you just got to, you just hope for the best. You go, you watch the games, you try to stay excited, you hope for some momentum going into next season and all. If Tommy's in there, can he have a good game? Right? You get excited about anything. Something to build on for the next season. The wins and losses are going to come regardless. Whether you're voting for the team, you want them to win or want them to lose. The games are going to come and games are going to go. And when all the smoke and dust and everything is settled, then you'll see, where the records are at and everything like that. Right? But right now, you're just hoping for the best. It would be nothing more fantastic than to beat the Eagles. Please forgive me, but I don't really see it happening. Okay, but nothing would be more awesome than putting 2 losses on the Eagles, man. That would be absolute, or at least one, just to hurt their playoff chance. They're making the playoffs, but hurt their seeding, maybe, knock them out of the, so they don't win the NFC East. Maybe now they're a wild card team and they got to play all their games on the road or something like that. Man, that would be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Right. All right. So then we got, and then of course, then you have good old Sheps' last stand. That's a shame. It's just one of those things, he's only 30 years old. It's not like he's over the hill or not like that. It's just apparently, I guess, with his injuries and all and everything, honestly, I think if Dable thought he could really, really help out the team, especially on the offensive side, I thought he'd be in there probably more because the Giants need help on the offensive side. Okay. And if he thought Shep could be a difference maker, Shep would be in there. But for whatever the reason is, I said maybe the injury is just slowing him down. He's not quite the same. Don't know. But he's enjoying his final time here with the Giants here. So they asked him. He's been asked a ton of times, right? How am I handling this? Shep said. There's a whole bunch of stuff Shep truly loves so much about what his life has been about the past 8 years, the interactions with his teammates, practice during the week, the games, especially the games. He's preparing to spend Christmas Day with the Giants in Philly, expecting to see little or no action on the turf at the Link Financial Field. Yeah, what we got here? It is not much of a shot. His role is clearly defined. He does not play. It's another one of those things too. It's because you got Paris Campbell, who's healthy, who could play, who's probably more capable of than Shep is, but they dress Shep every week. He just sits on the sideline, and then now they're not putting Paris Campbell in there, who they spent $5 million on for this season, and he'll be gone. They brought him in for $5 million. It's like, we really can't use this guy. Yeah. What'd you bring him in for? Yeah. But, unfortunately with Shep, the most snaps in one game this season he had was 26. That was at Washington. He caught one pass for 5 yards. He was healthy, but it was not on the field at all against the Jets and the Packers. He played one snap in Buffalo and one snap in Vegas. He played 3 snaps in last week's loss versus the Saints. For the season, he has 7 receptions for 39 yards. His one and only touchdown came in Dallas in the closing seconds of a 49-17 loss to the Cowboys. He said, "It's tough, man. It's not the ideal situation for me at this point in my career," Shepard said. "You just got to find the blessing in it all, and that's what I try to do every day. Try to look at the positives. I've had to overcome a lot of stuff to still be in this position. If I do call it quits, at least I can say I went out on my terms. It's a shame. Where is it here? Hold on here. So I think it says, where are we at here? Yeah. It says, I don't really know that what's out there, said Shep, who's number 6 on the Giants' all-time receiving list with 369 receptions. 2 behind Jeremy Shockey is 371. But unfortunately, as few as, I mean, it's no big deal if he were to get 3 more receptions, but he'd have to be on the field, obviously on the field. If we got 3 more receptions, he'd be number 5 in Giants history as far as receptions. He said, at this point, I've got to see what's good for my family more than anything. He has lived in 2 places in his life, Oklahoma and New Jersey. And he confessed, chuckling, I don't think I'm going back to Oklahoma anytime soon. He plans to stay in this area, which he thinks could help him get into the media. He owns properties in Oklahoma and is considering looking into additional real estate ventures. He enjoys teaching the game and says coaching could be an option for him. I just don't know I'll be good. I just know I'll be good, whatever I decide to do, he said. The end is nearing, not exactly the way he hoped it would be. The Giants took him in the second round of the 2016 draft, and he got paid around $32 million in 8 years. Shep was never told he had to leave, and he never did. I love this place, Shep said. I love everybody upstairs. They treated me so well my whole career. I'm just very grateful for being in this position I'm in. Not too many people can say that they've been somewhere for 8 years, and I realize how special that is, especially nowadays. I mean, you're in the same team for 8 freaking straight years. That's pretty special. With that, linebacker Isaiah Simmons came by to return Shepard's boombox and complain about the batteries being low. Interplay. Shepard adores and realizes will not be available to him much longer. So good old Isaiah Simmons had Shep's boombox, and I guess the batteries were getting low, and he was complaining about that. Oh man, it's too much. But I mean that nowadays, I mean, that's one of the things that just it is what it is, and what it is, and there's nothing you can do about it. But I mean, some of it just takes takes a little bit of the fun out of it for me. When I was watching football, there was a lot of turnover too. I mean, there's turnovers, always be turnover, but I mean, it just seemed like before there was free agency and stuff like that, and all, it was a lot easier to keep a team together. I mean, and growing up in the 70s, as I said once again, there was a lot of turnover because the Giants stunk. So they were replacing guys because they stunk. But the guys that they had there, and you started building a team with, that was my team. We stunk, but those were my guys. I stood by them, through thick and thin, watched them every week lose, sometimes quite badly. But those were my guys, you know what I mean? And I'd follow them every week. I collected their football cards. I knew the stats, their, all this stuff and everything. And I said, but it was a little easier to keep a team together. And that's what it was to me. I knew, I could tell you all the guys, not all the guys, but a lot of guys on the other teams. I could tell you to start an offensive line, the deep, or whatever like that, because they able to stay together. Unlike it is today with guys going, bringing Paris Campbell was here, then he's here for a year, then he's somewhere else next year. And, I mean, that's what just takes some of it, a little bit out of it for me. I said, I always watch football, always loved the football, always loved the game of football. I mean, football is always number one, and all the other sports are anywhere below that, right? So until the day I die, I'll be watching football, and I'll be proud of it, and I'll love it. And the Giants will always be my team. And it just, being an older fart, I enjoyed obviously my time back in the day, because when you could build a team, keep a team together. Like what the Giants did, back in the 80s. You keep that team together. Building the defense. Each year you add a couple pieces to the puzzle. You had Harry Carson, right? Then you had Lawrence Taylor, and then '84 you brought in 84, you brought in Carl Banks. I can't remember when Reasons came in, 84, 85, something like that. But 86, you brought in Pepper Johnson. 81, you had Jim Burt. 80, 85, you brought in Eric Dorsey and Eric Howe. I mean, Mark Collins. And, each year you just add little pieces to the puzzle. And for the most part, you were able to keep them together. And as they started gelling, becoming a good team, most of those guys were there the next year, and you'd add another piece or so to the puzzle, and you take that team, and the next year you carry them, add another piece. You know what I mean? I mean, just the way it is nowadays, it's just like guys coming and going so much. It's just kind of sometimes a little bit too much for me. But anyway, getting back to Shep, I mean, just being on the same team for 8 years is just rather remarkable. Yeah, especially with the Giants. I mean, they don't want to like especially like their third round picks and all that. Putting guys like assigning like third round picks to second contracts. And Giants just don't seem to do stuff like that. Hopefully that starts changing with Shane, because what he was saying is that you draft the guys, you develop the guys, you keep the guys, right, and moving forward. But I said, but Shep, I mean, the Giants would be stone cold foolish if they let that guy freaking leave. In a day and age where the water boys have assistant coaches, I'm the assistant coach to the water boy. I mean, there's so many coaches out there on the sideline, and backup coach, assistant coach, and this coach and that. If you can't find something for Shep to do in your organization, shame on you. I mean, he's bled blue for 8 straight seasons. He's a guy you want in the organization, and as what he said in that article, whatever he does, whatever he decides to do going forward, he's going to do, and he's going to do very, very well. And the Giants should certainly find something for him to do. I said, make him assistant wide receiver coach, right? When Grow winds up going or whatever, right? I mean, put him in there, let him be the receiver coach, right? He'll do a great job of it, right? You don't have to worry about him. He's going to, he'll have the passion. That's right. So unfortunately, I guess with Shep, I guess like the injuries are just starting to, catch up to him, because I mean, as bad as the Giants offense has been, if Dable actually thought that he could put him in there and he could get a spark going and help the offense, I'm sure he would do that. But just goes to show you that the fact that he's not on the field just kind of show you that I guess his time is coming to an end. So, all right, guys, been 47 minutes. I don't know if anybody's listening to this or not, but I'm going to be taking I'll be back Christmas night, but I'm taking the next 2 nights off because my son and I, it's going to be his birthday / Christmas present. We're going to be down in Miami watching the Cowboys and the Dolphins play. So that's at 4:25 on Sunday. So I won't be here Saturday night and I won't be here Sunday night. But after hopefully the I don't want to say Monday after the Christmas debacle. I don't want to say that. So hopefully after we beat the Eagles on Monday, I'll have a video. I'll come live Monday night. So I'll be back Christmas night, but I'll be off the next 2 nights because my son and I be down in Dallas. So whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. If anybody spends any time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.